Check, check. 1, 2, 3. Alright guys, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you guys are doing good. Today we're going to be talking about a very important topic. One that is in the minds of a lot of the youth right now, especially in Canada, America, and the Western world. Maybe also in the Eastern world where, a lot of changes are coming when it comes to real estate. So is it better to buy on a conventional mortgage versus is it better to rent and just live off, in the rental world? Okay, so some really important points here. This discussion, what I'm going to come with, obviously is going to have a slight bit of bias from my side, but obviously my bias is leaning towards individuals who want to make high income in the future. For example, they want to be more financially secure and who want to have higher financial freedom in 10, 15, 20 years. So that's what my bias is. Not necessarily looking for the highest form of just stability and middle class, right? That's cool too if you want that. 100%. Every form of income or level of income is amazing. It's just what do you want and how do you achieve it? So we're going to be talking about buying first, pros and the cons. And then we're going to go into a little bit more detailed discussion. Look, the second half of this video where I start talking about why you should do one or the other is probably the most important part of this, because it takes away the bias and it looks at everything on a more practical form, and it looks at everything in a way that it lets you make your decision a little bit easier and faster. Okay, so let's start about buying, getting on a conventional mortgage. What's the pros of it? Obviously equity, the biggest discussion that everybody brings up. Oh, we'll have our own equity, we'll have equity in something. So there you go, a format of investment with that equity. Another one is stability. You get a lot of stability with that. You got a place to go, you got a home, you go there, you settle, you got a family, system is running. Privacy, very important. Privacy, that's your home, that's your land. And there's not going to be problems with the concept that somebody can kick you out or you can be asked to leave or all those things. The cons, okay? Concept of commitment is very real when it comes to having your own house. You're committed to that. You can't move around. You have a conventional mortgage, and because of that, you're also emotionally locked. Now I'll explain that to you. Emotionally locked means that you now all of a sudden you don't want to live in that place, or you want to maybe move around, or you want to do something different in your life. You want to go do skydiving in the middle of Dubai and live in Honolulu for about 6 months and work from there. You can't do that because you have a conventional mortgage, and you have to think about that every time you're about to do a financial decision. You have to think about, every month I have to do this because I have to give a mortgage payment. So that's what I mean. You're financially and emotionally locked in there. Emotionally because you have to think about it every time. Financially because you have to make those payments. All right, maintenance, that's the cons. Trust me, there's always maintenance in houses. I used to live in a student housing. Well, no, it wasn't student housing. It was a house near university, and man, university students are wild. Let's just say that. Alhamdulillah, I was with the Muslim kids, and using calm kids and studious kids, so I was able to get away from that aspect. Mortgage payments are usually higher on average than renting. And this is also, you can get a mortgage calculator and look at how much does a house cost in a specific area, and then look at how much does rent cost in that specific area, and then you can find the mortgage rate for that area, and then you can find the cost of renting. It's almost always cheaper in renting than mortgage. But again, the mortgage has the concept of equity. You're paying for something that you're going to own. Opportunity cost is high. This, if you understand economics, because economics is my baby, you'll understand what it means. Okay, so opportunity cost is what are you losing for the actions that you're taking now. For example, right now I'm making this YouTube video. I'm just going to spend maybe an hour to make it, edit, whatever. Then what is the opportunity cost of this hour? What could I have been doing that would have been more valuable? What am I losing? And this can get pretty extreme when it comes to opportunity cost. But in a realistic perspective, the opportunity cost of owning a house is much higher than not owning. For example, when you give in those payments for this house, you're paying into an equity in a property which is going to appreciate usually over 7 to 10% if you're in Canada especially. That's the average. Okay, I know recently it's been about 25-30%. We're not going to talk about that because that's just a random, boost because of COVID and high immigration, right? But when you put your money into something and you're pushing money every month into something, the opportunity cost of that money being spent on something else that could be getting you higher return is high. That's what I mean. The opportunity cost is high. Less disposable income. See, the opportunity cost and less disposable income. So now this is for buying a house on conventional mortgage. If you're paying out cash, this is a different discussion. If you can afford paying out a house on cash, then I gotta talk to you about different things, and then start talking about investments. All right, rent pros. It's cheaper. We talked about this. It's cheaper to rent than buy, and I'm also gonna get into details about renting in other places and whatnot. Flexible. For example, you can move around. You need to work in Toronto, then you gotta go work in Vancouver. Get a 1-year lease. Get a 2, whatever, right? You'll slightly have to have a little bit of a minimalistic aspect in your life also, because you can't own a lot of things, because you can't keep moving things, right? So but that's a good thing. I'm a supporter of minimalist, right? I try my best to have, I promote people to have less and less things, or if you but if you get things, for example, in gifts and stuff you can't throw away, then you have them, right? But you don't go out buying 1,000 clothes like the people in the West do. Financial freedom, and what I mean by that is you're financially free. Like, you're not locked anywhere. Talking about the emotional and financial lock, you're financially not locked to anything. Technically speaking, you can make the payment today. You get up, go to a cheaper place. You want to move to a different place, you can. You're not locked. Mental freedom. With that financial freedom comes the mental freedom aspect, which is probably as important. All right, cons. Landlords are your boss. You're not the boss. It is true. Landlords are the boss. If they really want to kick you out, they can kick you out in 2 months, and then you're kind of put in a little pickle. Instability, for sure. That's another con. And another con would be the concept that you're not really building equity. After talking about all these things, and I haven't gone into details about even one of these topics, this is a huge discussion. This probably requires 1 hour, and this video is not going to be 1 hour long, but I'm trying my best to go over these things so you guys get a higher understanding. So what I would say, and this is a non-financial advice based recommendation, is that if you're young and you're growing in your career and you are trying to build a high format of wealth in the future and have financial freedom, I would say pick the option of renting, because it is cheaper for you to rent as of now than to buy a house. And if you're locked in, you're not going to be flexible. You cannot have enough disposable income to invest, trade, blah, 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 blah. So it's more expensive for you actually to buy than to rent. But if you're someone who wants to stabilize, settle down, you're happy with a middle class lifestyle, just make enough income, have family, have kids, just live life, then yeah, I would say get a house. Now, once they get a conventional mortgage, because I haven't talked about the spiritual aspect, right, and the religious aspect. This video wasn't with the concept of riba and interest. I've kept that aside. I'm just talking about the pure concept of making money, what's better for you as a person of financial freedom mindset. So, but if you're trying to settle down, get yourself maybe in a halal mortgage. Even then, I would say, think about how you can invest and quickly get up to that point of, buy a small place farther away from your Toronto downtown and pay it off quickly, get the next one, and then get closer to wherever you want to be. That's probably the smartest way of doing it. There's no point of picking up such a high mortgage at a young age. Now, let's talk about also the aspect of what happens when, there's different places in the world. Let's say you're in Dubai, you're in Canada, you're in America. Where is it better to rent versus buy? So I've actually did some calculations, and probably not, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this, but it's called, I'll give it a name, like the break-even analysis, okay? You have to understand that different areas in the world have different break-even points for a property. For example, I get a property in Canada. How long does it take me to pay off that property through renting or mortgaging and whatnot, right? In the West, usually the rate is about 25 to 30 years. That's how long it takes to pay off your property if you're going to rent it off. It's 25 to 30 years. If you live in areas that have that high number of break-even point, then you should probably rent in those areas. Why? Because your opportunity cost is much higher if you're buying. So, which means if you're gonna buy, then you're losing out on the potential of what you could be making. You don't want to be renting in this area, but like areas like Dubai, where break-even analysis is about 10 years or 9 years or 11 years, then a better opportunity is to maybe buy in those areas. So you have to do this analysis. You have to figure out how much is the rental rate in these countries. And for example, think about it like this: if I get a mortgage on this property, how long will it take me to pay off this? If it's more than 25 years, then it's better to rent in that area. But if it's 15 years or less, then it's better to buy a property in that area. So this is an analysis I did. Check it out for yourself. If you're a finance guy, I have a background in finance. Let me know what you think about this. I was just playing with some numbers, and this is what I came up with. So guys, that's really a quick analysis on buying versus renting. There's a lot of reports, a lot of research on this. There's a lot of research that talks about when you should buy or when you should rent. Both sides have had their arguments. Most of the arguments are in favor of buying a property. As I said, it's an easier way for people to develop equity because they're not as educated in investing and trading in crypto and stocks. So it's just a more less sophisticated way of building an equity and having a stable lifestyle. I'm not like that. So in my personal opinion, I'm more in the favor of having the concept of not being chained to a conventional mortgage because it's a locked mortgage. So you're never going to be able to pay it off within before the time frame. So even if you make $1 million all of a sudden, you're still going to have to wait for so many years to pay off your loan. I don't believe in the concept of being locked into a loan. It makes me feel a little uncomfortable. And so personally, bias goes towards having the concept of freedom, running around, being able to travel the world and, make money from that side. Because what you can do, actually, you know what? I'm going to save the rest of this for another video where I'm going to talk about the concept of how you can travel the world and it's cheaper to travel the world and work and live. Because you'll be able to save more money, invest more money, and be able to probably achieve financial freedom much faster than anybody who's in the West and sticking to their job and living here and paying the taxes and the fees from this country, like Canada and America. And UK has a lot of taxes too. I was just there a few weeks ago or months ago. So we'll talk about that in the next video. Inshallah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Do subscribe, like, share, hit that bell icon for notifications. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram for more content. I'll be uploading more stuff in all of these social media websites. Thanks. Take care. Salam.